So when fans of your previous games pick up the controller and start playing Sekiro, what will stand out to them? What will be the biggest surprises about how it's different?
So in previous titles, just to, first an example from Dark Souls is you have to, defend with your shield and then strike back. It's this kind of like give and take. Bloodborne, you had to kind of step out of harm's way and then dive back in and attack. It was like in and out kind of infighting. Sekiro is more like katana on katana action, so we're really concentrating on that blade-to-blade duels and the sword fighting aspect. So, we feel that once users have taken to and mastered the deflect technique, they'll be turning, not only dealing damage through their own attacks, but when they're being attacked by the enemies, they're turning that to their advantage. And we feel like that's a really unique aspect this time. And yeah, we hope players are really surprised and enjoy this.
But you want players to focus on deflecting. That's the key. That's how they need to change their brain.
Of course, there are other elements, such as the prosthetic tools and the stealth. But yeah, we feel the katana and the way you're able to deflect almost any attack is going to provide the key and provide this new thrill, to the combat system.
How does it feel to change up From's combat in such a big way for this game?
It is tough to make these big changes, but we don't want to keep doing the same thing as a studio and as individuals. And so when Miyazaki came to us and said he wanted to make this brand new game and he tasked me with a brand new battle system, then I was really excited. And you can see, he has that same excitement, and this spreads to the team for making this new project.
There's a lot of head scratching on your part, a lot of drawing on a whiteboard and thinking.
Yeah, absolutely. A lot of head scratching. The first big change is the fact that we're departing from, what we're known for, the Soul series. And, in that, it's like, we got to make something new. We've got to change stuff. And so at first, when we were initially creating the game, it was difficult to branch away from that. And it, ended up being quite similar. But, through that kind of process and, going back to the drawing board and rethinking the systems, then we've been able to create the deflect system and the katana combat system that you see today.
What was the most challenging system to create? Which one went through the most iteration?
So it's something I'm still struggling with and that the team is, still finds hard to this day. But in making this new combat system with the deflect system, we've really had to rethink the way that we make these fine-tuning and adjustments to each battle. So the deflect is not really like a parry in fighting games or previous Dark Souls games where you have a kind of a large window of leniency. It's very precise, and in order to teach players this, we need the enemy animations and the attack animations to be very precise. We need them to see what's coming and to learn these movements and then to react accordingly. And so when it comes down to tweaking these attacks, we can't just do it on a parameter level. We have to actually tweak frame by frame the animations and remove frames, add frames here and there to make sure it looks pitch perfect and that the user's going to be able to react to that intuitively.
Is it the biggest design challenge you've had in your career so far?
It's always a challenge to create these systems that adapt to, that fit each game that we produce, but especially for Sekiro, when the time came to make these big changes and to distance ourselves a little bit from the Soul series, this was in itself the biggest challenge, I feel.
Do you want to talk about designing the death blow system, especially having like the numerical countdown of how many are left there?
The death blow was originally known as Ninsatsu and Tenchu, and this was kind of one source of inspiration for us. Also building the game around this posture system and deflecting blows and whittling down your opponent's posture and staggering them, we needed a really good feel-good finisher to kind of clinch that battle. And so the death blow is something that we've really put a lot of time and effort into.
Do you see this as a Tenchu spiritual successor? Is that how always you've seen this project?
Personally, I wouldn't call it a spiritual successor. From the outset, we used Tenchu as a source of inspiration and impetus, but that was it. When we were told this is not going to be another Tenchu game, we want this to be a brand new thing, then that's the direction we all set off in at the same time. So while we took inspiration and impetus from it, it was never supposed to be a kind of imitation of that series.
And that was Miyazaki that said, let's not have this be a Tenchu game?
Yep, yeah, it was Miyazaki.
Overall, do you have a message for From Software fans about Sekiro you want to get across, something you want them to understand?
Yep, this is not Dark Souls, this is not Bloodborne. I feel like this is something brand new that we've created here, and we hope that when users get their hands on it, that's what they're going to feel and that's what they're going to enjoy. And right now we're in the middle of making the finishing touches to that, so yeah, please stay tuned.